I'm always going to, in a big game, I've seen the Rams win games like this before. I've seen them win many games like this before. I've seen Sean McVay show up when the lights are brightest. I have seen the Rams show up when the lights are brightest. And I knew that in this game, Kevin OConnell is a great head coach. Let's see what he's got against the best head coach in the NFL, right? Let's see what he's got against Sean McVay. And clearly, the Rams' game plan was out there, and it absolutely stumped and stumbled and made the Vikings fumble around. Darnold got sacked 9 times, lost 82 yards on those 9 sacks. Like, it was an entire night where he was under duress the entire game. The Rams are a really good team. The Rams put it together late, just like it's kind of become their thing. They're living life as a team that they start off 1-4, and yet they wind up winning the NFC West. In a year, the Rams went from being the oldest team in the NFL to one of the 3 youngest. And here's where they're at. You think this era of the Rams is something that just holding on to? No, now they've gotten younger. Their playmakers are all young. Yes, Matthew Stafford is older, but he is still playing at a really high level. But it all comes down to, I will take Sean McVay in a game against Kevin OConnell until Kevin OConnell shows me he can win this game. I'll take Sean McVay, not letting the cat out of the bag, but I'll take Sean McVay next week over Nick Sirianni, because I know what Sean McVay does in big games. Not that Nick Sirianni hasn't won big games before, but in this chess match, I'll take the coach of against a team that struggled to score points yesterday. And it looked like Saquon Barkley had a great game. He had 1 run at the end to salt the game away. Outside of that, it was 27 carries for 90 yards. That's a night like John Riggins. But this was
nice yeoman-like effort. Yeah.
This was a game where I knew I'm taking Sean McVay, and to an extent, to give a big shout-out to defensive coordinator Chris Shula, who probably at halftime could have become the head coach of the Cowboys. Hey, I'm ready. Why don't you hire me? Look what I just did to Sam Darnold. This was a masterclass in coaching and how to outmaneuver a team in a week where the Rams had to worry about if their families were going to be okay.
But that's the thing, right? That was the wild card to all of this.
Did they have to evacuate? It was not till Friday the Rams said, okay, now we can focus, right? Like the last 3 days of prep for this game had been, we're trying to practice and figure out if our family's going to be okay with the LA wildfires, which are still going. Oh, by the way, Wednesday at 6:00, apparently that's high noon. If we make it through Wednesday at 6:00, that's going to be it, and everything's going to be okay. So please have your good thoughts out for us here in Los Angeles. So they lose the home field. They go to Arizona. Now they feel they can focus a couple of days before the game, and still, this is the effort they got. They dominated from the beginning of the game all the way through till the end. This was not a game. This is not a place where, hey, their attack came out and then the Vikings caught up to it. The Vikings never caught up the entire game. This was a Sean McVay, Chris Shula masterclass. This is why he's the best coach in the NFL.
Yeah, Shula gets the nod from me here. Obviously, McVay and company, their first script worked very well. Went straight down the field. What was it, a 70-yard drive, finishing with the touchdown, and immediately Sam Darnold takes the field, 7-0 deficit. They have a negative run play. He gets sacked in that opening possession, 3 and out, and you're kicking the ball right back. And you heard the crowd. What was interesting and really kind of cool to watch over the weekend was Demoff, Stafford's wife, everybody coming together, getting a bunch of buses out there and rallying season ticket holders to get them their passage there so they could be part of the action today. So that was a cool little subplot to a lot of them. Yeah, how do you respond to the week that you had? It's like a lot of folks hope to, right? You dive back into your work when the world isn't quite so secure around you. We've all done it. Illnesses, family circumstances, people passing in your family. You sometimes you just put your head down and try to go to work. The Rams today, perfect plan, early offensive explosion, but what Shula and that defense were able to do all night long, like that Minnesota offensive line beleaguered. They got beaten up last week by the Lions. It's one thing coming out of the game that we did wonder about, how much of a hangover from that game would you have in terms of the execution and just the style of play, what you know you're going to get from a Glenn and Campbell production, making it a full Hollywood thing here as we do, is they're going to bludgeon you. You get 2 hours. This is a John Wick movie as they get after you defensively, because you saw even not having necessarily to bring extra attackers, Darnold was under duress all day. And you joke about seeing ghosts and some of that. Yeah, you saw that, hanging onto the ball an extra click too long, throwing behind receivers, even on passes he did complete. he was betrayed a couple of times by Addison and some of the receivers downfield, but I don't think they thought the ball was going to get to him. So I think there's a lapse of concentration. Like, I got to dial back in. The ball's actually finding me, on target. So all of that to say, great game plan. Shula and company, 9 sacks. Unfortunately, didn't get the double digit. They get the 2 big turnovers, including the fumble return for a touchdown, and roll to what seems at least a pretty easy score. And now this defense gets to get after Jalen Hurts and what has been a suspect pass offense for Philadelphia for a few weeks, including Jalen Hurts missing multiple games because of a concussion, because only part of that was Operation Shutdown. The other part was legitimate health concerns. So, yeah, if you're Sirianni, if you watch this game tape, this might keep you up tonight.
I don't know that you'll find a more impressive win all year in the NFL when we talk about what they all had to go through, the Rams had to go through to win this game. How they're able, again, losing home field, staying focused, knowing that the fires are still raging back home, knowing that it was a hair's breadth away from where they practiced. They had to cancel or stop practice because you could see the fires from the field in Thousand Oaks. The fire was so close to Thousand Oaks. They're under red alert. We've been under red alert in Los Angeles for the last week. Again, hoping that Wednesday at 6, that's the magic time. That's the magic hour for us to get past this.
Friday it was
wins.
Finish the show, get out.
Yeah. I mean,
that's how things were progressing.
They're succeeding in the face of adversity, and there's this. You'll not find a more impressive win by an NFL team. And right after the game was over, Matthew Stafford did the on-field interview with Lisa Salters, and here is Matthew Stafford explaining just how the Rams were able to win with all of this going on.
It's been a difficult week. You guys had a lot of reasons to be distracted. Just how were you guys able to overcome all of the obstacles that you faced this week?
It's a resilient group, man. I'm so proud of these guys. Great mix of young guys, old guys. Our head coach is an absolute stud, getting us dialed in the right direction. And we knew what we were playing for today. It was go get this win, but man, it was for the people of Los Angeles struggling right now. It's been unbelievable to watch the whole community, the state, the country kind of get behind them. It's a tough time to be back there, and we're just happy that we came out and played like this tonight to get something to be happy about.
Great answer. And that really encapsulates everything by this effort for the Rams. And in a last week where there have not been nearly as many, you don't hear, you want to hear more of the positive, hey, here's the best of human nature, right? From people that are, as everybody is working together to try to keep everybody safe in LA from the wildfires. Everybody is pitching in. This weekend, we donated a whole bunch of clothes to the YMCA in our area because they were getting clothes to victims who didn't have any, and they were driving them to the YMCA said, listen, give us your clothes, food, whatever you have. We will drive it to shelters where people are staying who have lost everything. And when I got to the YMCA, and I'm like, okay, we'll go and we'll volunteer, right? Like we'll go because we were on Saturday. I said, so I got Zoe in the car, ready to go. We're going to volunteer, and we get there and we get out, and they go, yeah, go around the back with your stuff. Great. We go in the back, and I stop the car, and 40 kids come to take the stuff out of the car, and I said, hey, and they said, I'm sorry, thank you for this. We have enough volunteers, and it was an awesome thing to see because they had 100 people there that were trying to just one YMCA. They had 100 people there trying to go through things. So to hear great stories about how people are surviving. The one guy that found his dog when he went back to his home that he lost, and his dog was living around the area for 5 days, and somehow he saw. We need more stories like that, but. Like I always say, sports brings you what is the best of us. And certainly tonight, that's a national thing that everybody can focus on. Here are the Rams who, in the face of the wildfires, maybe the worst natural disaster that Los Angeles has had since the Northridge earthquake, and even before, when you think of what the devastation we don't know yet, to see the Rams win this game like this and able to overcome what they have is an incredible, hey, here's a positive story out of all of this heartbreak and tragedy that we've been going through.
Yeah, looking at the LAFD sweatshirts and hats and all of that, the signs of unity, that's what's been, I think, good, because normally the journalism and certainly sports talk radio, right, bleeds, it leads, and if there's a losing locker room negativity, we're gonna spend a lot of time on it, right? Because the anger, the vitriol, what have you. What has been kind of heartening in this situation is the number of tales like you're giving us from that YMCA, or chefs getting together. It's like, hey, use our kitchens, use the fridges. We've got space.
Opening all the Airbnbs,
all of these
for
random
free.
places. Just dialing in, and it's good because you can very easily get dragged into the politics and everything else that flows with it. Plenty of time for that. In the moment, the best of the human spirit, contribute what, and if you can, we appreciate the good thoughts and efforts of everybody around the globe on this one, because it has become an international story.